Have you ever wondered why sore throats are so common and how common they actually are? Well, let me tell you that they're the second most common reason why people see physicians is a sore throat. And why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you the cause of sore throats, the most common causes. I'm also going to offer some natural solutions. So please stay tuned and we'll tell you more. So I remember as a kid, actually, that was one of the most common things that I had to deal with was strep throat or and croup, so I can relate to a sore throat in general growing up as a kid. And one of the things that I realized later on in life is that I shouldn't have dairy, that dairy was not a good thing for me. And so many people are eating dairy, just as a quick tip, and then when they really shouldn't, because it clogs up your lymphatic system in your throat and something called your spleen, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. So make sure you watch this all the way through to get all the details and the natural solutions that I have to offer you. So how do you cure a sore throat naturally? That's what this is about, right? So sore throat is the second most common acute infection seen by family practitioner and doctors. Sore throat is predominantly a disease of youth and the early school years. However, I have noticed over the years that many times people, even as adults now, are getting sore throat. And there's so many fears and concerns now with the coronavirus and whatnot that, that there are these symptoms associated with these problems. Sore throats are more common in autumn, in the winter. So we can talk about that as well. I would say the predominant reason, because when it gets colder, your body gets stressed. People don't cover up like they should, especially your throat. When you're in the colder weather, when it changes weather patterns, we say in Asian medicine that you should cover up your throat. It's a very vulnerable area, in many ways. That's why it's a good idea to wear a collar, in the winter and a scarf to cover things up, because it only takes one time. Have you ever noticed that? Like you're doing really well and you're going in the fall, from summer to fall, and then all of a sudden your throat gets cold. You walk out sometime in the morning when it's extra cold, and you seem like you fall prey to a sore throat, right? So let's divide this up into bacterial and viral infections that can happen in the throat, right? So I find that a lot of bacterial infections occur. As you look back at this slide, you can see the tonsils are in the back. They look like a curtain on a stage. So just think of that from now on, that when you see your tonsils, if somebody doesn't have tonsils, if they've been removed, then that should be a sign to you that something is wrong with their immune system. Not only do they have a weaker immune system, because it's as if the skimmer on a pool has been removed and now all you have is the filter, but it's also a sign of why did you have to have your tonsils removed. Even more important to keep listening. So the other part is a viral. So viruses, can get trapped in the throat. And that's the skimmer part that we talked about, the tonsils, the adenoids. That's where everything comes down. When we eat some toxic food that's not good for us, fast food or whatnot, then we know that these, types of infections can linger right in the throat, where everything is the skimmer of the body. So the filter of the throat is really the spleen. Why do I say that? Because the spleen lives on the left side of the body, and it's a very special organ. Because what it does is it filters all the debris and toxins and the lymph nodes along the throat, including the tonsils, which are part of that system, and they're connected to the spleen. Then basically, if you have a strong spleen, then you have strong tonsils, and then you tend not to get sick from sore throats. So it's something to be aware of. And what helps the spleen? I know you got this answer. Exercise. And then also skin brushing. So these are great ways to help a sore throat, prevent it from coming on, or after you have one, to do some rebounder jumping, or, there's just some kind of activity or light stretching. People many times don't think about sinuses and their connection with a sore throat, but it's absolutely connected. So if you have chronic sinus infections or low-grade sinus pressure, headaches, or you're blowing your nose all the time, you have red eyes, itchy eyes, you have eye crust in the morning, all these are signs of chronic sinus problems, or especially a stuffy nose in the morning. So if you don't resolve this, what happens is eventually what happens upstream with the sinuses will affect everything downstream in the throat. So one of the remedies you can do is actually, besides clearing out the sinuses, that's important, of course. And we have some great sinus rinses that I can recommend. If you just call the clinic, we'll get them for you. But is a salt water gargle. So if you gargle with salt water, it's phenomenal for, because nothing can survive in salt water typically. And that's why the Dead Sea was really a sterile environment, where it's just a very clean environment, the Dead Sea. And so if you produce gargling with this sea salt, it will greatly help you to clean out your throat and to clean out any remaining infections, including bacterial and viral. So this is a great remedy. The second is hydration. So usually, because the spleen really depends upon hydration, you need to have enough water in your body so the spleen can do its job as a filter. Can you imagine trying to filter your pool at home and there just wasn't enough water in the pool? It would actually burn up the engine or create a sore throat. So make sure you hydrate. So I always say my rule of thumb is make sure you go to the bathroom every couple of hours. Make sure you have, somewhat slightly yellow urine. Just barely yellow, straw colored is the best. No foam, no difficulty urinating. All this is important to remember for healthy, hydration. So grapefruit seed extract is another great remedy, for sore throats. So you can put it in a spray bottle and spray it in your throat. You can also get some sinus spray that we have that has grapefruit seed extract in it. You can call the office. But this is just a really great way to also get rid of excess bacteria and viruses in your mouth. So just remember that. You can even gargle with it if you had to, like the salt water as well. Then there's Manuka Honey. So Manuka Honey is pretty incredible. It comes from New Zealand, in that area of the world. And these bees work really hard. So use it sparingly. But you can put it even, of course, infants under 1 year old should not use honey because of the fear of botulism. But anywhere after one, anyone can take honey pretty much. And you can put it on a little bit of a spoon. You could suck it off the spoon, let it drip down your throat. And then this will help you greatly to kill any viruses or infection. It'll actually boost the immune system. It tastes fantastic. And it's just a great remedy. Just really helps a lot. So the other thing you have to avoid is sugar. So people eat a lot of sugar. They really have a lot of problems because all of this sugar eventually feeds bugs. And it weakens your immune system for 4 hours after eating any kind of sugar. So avoid soda and candy, hard candies, and just candy in general, because these things will greatly enhance your bacteria count, and the bugs love sugar. So if you feed them, you'll have more bugs and more sore throats. And this could also apply for strep throat as well. So there's also one of my favorites, just a general remedy that's very helpful, is elderberry. So elderberries are really helpful. You can get them in lozenge form. This is really, really helpful. And it will really be of great help to you to soothe your throat. It's antiviral and bacterial. It's been around forever. I have patients that actually have elderberry bushes, and they make syrup out of it. And it can last for a long time if you preserve it. So these are some really natural and safe remedies that I can recommend. And the last is throat spray. Herbal throat spray is something that we carry that has natural echinacea and marshmallow. It's root, and it has other herbs in it as well that are really great for coating the throat. Sometimes you just need a good spray to get in there to cling to the tonsils, get rid of the bacteria and the viruses especially. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you've learned that, number one, that the tonsils are complicated and that sore throats are complicated because they're connected to your spleen and your filters lymphatically. That if you eat and avoid sugar, get enough rest, drink enough water, all of these things will enhance your immune system. And when you get sore throats or strep throat, it is truly a sign of a weakened immune system. And I really caution you that if you're getting this on a regular basis, more than once every couple of years, it is a true sign that you have a weak immune system. And we know now, going in today's world, as we live in this world that we live in, that nothing could be more dangerous than a weakened immune system. So if you would like to know more, keep watching more of my videos and become a patient, or just become a member of our membership site to watch more videos and to educate you how to take care of your health to live a long, healthy, and happy life. So for now, mahalo.